so we have a selection of close range limb control drills from Naihanchi Kata, and all of them come from a basic reference position, a basic cross hands reference position, and then we use that to spontaneously move between application and application throughout the kata. Okay, so the first reference position is just in an even stance. For the sake of the drill, you can do this from any stance you want, okay, but just for the sake of the drill, we go in an even stance, and we work on the first movement of the kata, this movement here, and this is just a lesson. This movement itself is a full lesson just on some of the important concepts and strategies of percussive impact. So one of those, for instance, is both limbs moving together. So this meotode, this husband and wife hands. So you'll get to see this here. Also the use of larger weapons to create impact, and aiming for targets above the collarbone. So the idea is to try and switch off the threat. Okay, so these are like fundamental principles of any good self-defense strategy. So we're going to start just from a classic cross position like this, and this is just to simulate the arms being clashed. And this is quite a common thing you find once you start to close the distance off. Arms will likely clash. Okay, so we're in this position here. Then I'm just going to pull this hand down and out the way, and then strike up this way. Okay, so I'm aiming towards the throat, the jawline, anywhere across this area, and just working on striking with the forearm here. Okay, so again, I've got a lot of redundancy in this. It's a huge weapon, and I'm going against a pretty big target. Okay, so even if I'm slightly out, I'm still going to make impact. In response to this, Lewis just brings his hand up to cover. Okay, and this gives me the next cross hand position. So then all I do is I turn my hand over again, grip, pull this one down, and strike again, and he just lifts that hand up to cover. Alright, now in reality what I probably want to do is to pin his arm and hit. Okay, but obviously for the sake of the drill we need to keep it flowing. So as I pull down, he just lifts one hand up to cover. Okay, and then grab and hit, grab and hit this way. Okay, now it's important when I'm doing this that I don't let go of this hand, so I want to keep this secured. The reason for that is I only want to give him one option to be able to cover. Ideally, like I said, you give him no options, but for the sake of the drill, I only want to give him one. So if I pull this hand down and just had it here without gripping, he could easily lift this one up to cover. Yeah, but what I want to do is limit his options, so I'll keep tight hold of this so he's only got one arm to cover with here. Okay, then the same again. As soon as I grip this one, as I let this one go, he's going to come around to cover here. Here, here, and just keep fluid motion working on this technique. Okay, another key thing to think about as well is, and as the kata shows, the elbow's tight into the body. So when you pull from here, make sure that the elbow doesn't come up like this. So obviously this is structurally a lot weaker. So I want to keep nice and heavy with the hand, and as I turn, I'm making my grip with my little finger first, and then following through this way. Okay, to grip. And I don't really grip much with my thumb and my forefinger. These are used to kind of direct his limb a little bit. So pull down and hit, down, hit, down, hit, down, hit, down, hit. Okay, so that's just the reference kind of drill that provides a basis for the rest of the applications. Okay, so once we've got that initial framework down, like I say, we can go through numerous applications from the kata. So I'm just going to show you one of those. It's from this position here where we step across, and then we do Sotuki, this cross block, and then the Uraka or the Urazuki. So once we get this cross, okay, this is our cross position. Okay, so once we get this here, we're going to pull, twist, and I'm going to come up to hyperextend the elbow here. So that's a function of the Sotuki, okay, coming up under here. Then what I'm going to do is hook this hand here. So hook under the arm and pull it away and down. That's going to get me from the outside to the inside of the body, okay. As I do that, at the same time as I pull that, I'm then going to attack here, to the throat here, okay. As that happens, Lewis again, he's only got one option to parry with, which is this hand here. Okay. Once that happens, that's kind of this movement here. Once that happens, I'm then going to bring this hand over the top to clear this limb and strike again. Okay, so I'm aiming to hit here. Okay, and of course Lewis is coming back to cover. Right. So we've got this movement, which is the outer block. We've got this movement, which is the cross block, and then we've got the hand lifting up to cover and hit again for the uraken. Okay, so that's just that sequence in that context. And then we can go backwards and forwards with this. So we go one on one side, cross, hit, then all I do is change sides with the same drill that we've done earlier. And now I'm on the other side. So I'm going 1, 2, 3, change sides. Then again, I'm on this side. 2, 3, change sides. 1, 2, 3. And just gain a bit of fluidity in that movement. Okay. Again, it doesn't matter if your hands open or your hands closed. It's really the motion that you're looking at and the application of the principles within the kata. Okay, so just a couple of points on that drill then. The first one we're going to look at is the idea of breaking rhythm, right? So in this position, a very basic way of doing this drill would be to kind of go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. A very clockwork way of doing it, okay? Once I've got the movements down, I want to try and think about being a bit more fluid, so that each movement starts to blend a little more. So it becomes a little bit more fluid, okay? And Lewis just gets used to lifting his free hand up to cover, which is a good skill for him as well. Once we've got that down, then we start to look at breaking the rhythm a little bit, because what Lewis kind of wants to feel is that when he gets to this position and the hand comes up, as he goes to cover, he doesn't really want to feel much resistance, okay? He's expecting to feel resistance, but what I want to try and do is work around that resistance a little bit, almost like water, trying to flow around the obstacles. So when you get to kind of this position here, as his hand comes out, I'm going to take that. Okay, so I'll do it on the other side, this way. So instead of going 1, stop, 2, I'm going to use that energy of him coming out, I'm going to flow with it. Okay, and that's going to aid this movement here. Okay, so the timing change is slightly different on this part here only, right? So let me show you that then. So 1, so this is kind of the clockwork way of doing it, yeah? Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and blend up a little bit so that I'm breaking the rhythm onto this this elbow bar here. Okay, so he's coming out, he's expecting to feel something, but he doesn't. Okay, so it's almost like fighting a cloud. Yeah, you go to grab it and it just isn't there. You expect it to be there, but it isn't. And that is another key skill that you can start to develop in this area. Okay, another thing that you might want to consider and try to enhance in this drill is this idea of continuous dominance, and this is another key aspect in self-defense, and it's taught obviously in the application of Naihanchi Kata. The start movements, the first movements of the form, this movement here, and this movement here, are really teaching you about percussive impact, and it's setting the scene for the rest of the kata. It's kind of suggesting that one of the best and most clinical ways of ending an altercation is to cause impact, switch off the threat, and then if any obstacles get in the way, the idea is to clear those obstacles and then get back onto that primary strategy again of percussive impact. So one thing you might want to look at in this drill is this idea of overwhelming the opponent so that they're always in a reactionary state. Okay, so what I mean by that is when you're moving through this drill, say I get to this position here, this movement now, instead of going kind of 1 and having dead space and 2 this way, the kata doesn't do that. The kata, it happens together, and the reason it happens together is because I'm I'm creating an opening here. Okay, I'm opening the doors up. So I want to fill that opening as quickly as I possibly can. I want to be the first one to fill it. So the only thing that Lewis has got to, Lewis is concerned about is covering his head and his neck. Well over and above trying to hit me. Okay, so that wants to be his prime concern. If I leave space here, there's time for us both to attack. If I leave no space, he's got no option but just to either cover up with his hand or take a shot. Okay, so that's kind of the feeling I'm after. So I'm coming through here, and then when I pull this down, I really want to be just sending this out. So the only thing he's got is a reactionary cover like this. Okay, and obviously that reactionary cover gives me that straight away. Okay, he's expecting that resistance, but he ain't getting it. I'm just rolling around it, and then I can take that from there. All right, so it gives you the ability to kind of to really make him flinch. Okay, and then use that energy of that flinch to come back on. Okay, so and here, yeah, making him come through, overextend a little bit, which allows me a little bit more realism in the drill. Okay, because of the dynamics at this close range, it's really key that you work on these kind of energies, because that's what this drill is trying to express. Granted, it's not a direct relationship to a realistic situation, but what we are doing is just trying to develop some of the attributes that then can be pulled out and applied in a realistic way. Okay, so these drills give you an idea or an ability to be able to pull out the lessons contained within the kata to be used in a repetitive way, so you can understand them more, understand the methodologies, and then you can then take those and apply them in a more realistic way.